Greetings and welcome to our daily Devo for Tuesday, the 27th of June today. We are in Jerusalem still today, but tomorrow's our last day there. So we'll be moving on. But it's been good. I think it's neighborhood of 17, 18 days in Jerusalem. So we got our money's worth, I guess, right, on this trip. We're at the Western Wall today. Jerusalem at the Western Wall. They cite 2 Chronicles chapter 6, verses 12 through 42. They list or they print out for us verses 32 and 33 of that passage. As for the foreigner who does not belong to your people Israel, but has come from a distant land because of your great name and your mighty hand and your outstretched arm, when they come and pray toward this temple, then hear from heaven, your dwelling place. Do whatever the foreigner asks of you. Wonder if those verses might be appropriate to our situation in these days. If stones could speak, the stones of the Western Wall would have stories to tell. Today, they offer a lesson on prayer. The massive stone blocks at the base of the Western Wall aren't building stones connected with the temple proper. They're the remains of a west-facing retaining wall that held up the 36-acre platform around the temple. No matter what time of the day or night you visit, there are always dozens, if not hundreds, of Orthodox Jewish men and women praying before the massive stones of the Hakotel. It's H, capital H, small a, then a capital K, O-T-E-L, which means the wall. Hakotel. There, you've learned some Hebrew today. They're so invested in this old wall because it's the sole architectural element that survived the Roman destruction of the temple campus in 70 AD. Consequently, it became and remains an open-air synagogue where worshipers can be as close as possible to the place where the temple once stood, but where the Dome of the Rock now stands. At this wall, men and women gather alone or in small groups, touching the blocks of stone and swaying in cadence with their prayers. Before they leave, some tuck their printed prayers into the cracks of the aging wall, leaving their personal petitions before the Almighty. What reason would a Christian have for doing this? It isn't because we believe this is the only place the Lord hears our prayers. Solomon acknowledged as much when he offered the dedication prayer at the first temple. All creation cannot contain the Almighty, much less a modest building, 2 Chronicles 6:18. But that doesn't mean praying at a heritage site lacks value. At the Western Wall, we remember the Lord's long-standing interest in listening to the prayers of his people. Solomon's lengthy prayer reminds us that the Lord is concerned about all things that impact our personal well-being, including social disruptions, environmental catastrophes, and guilt over sin. What's more, Solomon observed that the Lord is interested not only in the prayers of his chosen people, but also in the prayers of the quote-unquote the foreigner, like me, who comes to this place to pray. So while the Western Wall isn't the only place to pray, it can be a meaningful one, a place that has long awaited our visit. Does he mean the Western Wall is a place that has long awaited our visit, or does he mean prayer? I think he probably means the Western Wall, but I'd like to think he means prayer because so many of us don't visit there often enough, and we certainly don't visit there often enough with others. We're all about, especially here in America, we're all about our private time. We're all about our personal devotions. We're all about doing things the way we want to do them. But the people of God as a community, and it's important that we do our best. I know some cannot get out. I understand that. This is not intended to bring guilt on anyone, but we need to do our best to be a part of a group of some kind of other believers with whom we can pray, with whom we can read the scriptures, with whom we can talk about the things of the Lord together. God's all in for that, and we need to understand that, and we need to make it a priority in our lives. We don't just find time to pray; we make time. We make time. So, 2 questions here as my phone rings. 2 questions here for this day today. Is there a heritage site that is a particularly meaningful place for you to pray? Right away, summer camps come to mind, whether our own PMBC or the Western District camp that we used to go to out in the Western District of the Primitive Methodists. Places that are different. On the roofs of homes I've stayed in Guatemala, they have flat roofs, and it's easy to go up on them and take in the mountains around as the prayer is focused toward the Lord, the Creator. Question number 2, how does Solomon's prayer at the temple encourage you to compose your prayer life? I'd encourage you to read that. It is a powerful, powerful prayer that he prays there in 2 Chronicles chapter 6. And the closing prayer for us today is this: Heavenly Father, I want to pray more often and more thoughtfully. I know you are always more eager to hear than I am to pray. Help me fix that. Fill my days with conversations with you. I know a lot of people are nervous to pray with others around, but if we just see our praying as a conversation with the Holy One, with the one who invites us, the one who wants to see us in his presence, wants us to come to him, then hopefully it becomes like a regular conversation, albeit a respectful one and one that's dependent on him. Blessings to you today.